Hello, hello, denizens of the multiverse. Hello, welcome to Talking is a Free Action.
Yes.
I, one of your benevolent hosts, formerly known as the Question Lord Triumphant, and then due to certain incidents, always a delight when people don't know that that's coming. My name once was the Question Lord Triumphant, and now is the Poppet, and this is my wife, the Tempest, stuck on my hand and turned into a red panda. Oh, poor innocent. Well, yes, as you know, we're all, if you've seen the show before, we're all knowing, all knowledgeable, but we could always do with more knowledge, and that's why I have decided to scoop a person from the, well, not the material plane, some other plane of existence. This, my friends, is Vuk. Hello, Vuk. How are you doing?
Hello. Not too badly, thank you.
Good to check in. All things considering, of course.
Well, indeed, things have changed violently over the last little while, but I now feel as strong as I ever have, with a greater sense of freedom and a greater sense of purpose than I ever had before.
That's a very beautiful spin to put on your situation, which I'm sure we could dig into in a little bit. So, Vuk here, I'm going to put through what is known as the Labyrinth of Lore. That's an L-O-R-E. There is no L-A-W's here. Apart from, I guess, what I say goes, which is a fine law.
A fine law.
Anyway, I know, I can see the strings of the universe, and I know that it's not just Vuk, that there is a higher being on what my associates call the Rael world, because they have never gone to an elocution lesson, and I know it's the real world. I've been there. I know that in
not a nice place.
Not a nice place at all. It's too hot, and then it's too wet. It's
all at the same time.
All at the same time. Anyway, I know that there is a being known as Ed that resides. Quick little cameo from Ed there, who resides in the real world. Who I can, if it gets a bit too difficult for Vuk, they simply proclaim talking as a free action, and then me, who's Tom, can talk. And now I'm back into character. Anyway. Before we start, I've got to show my gratitude to some folks. We have Hero Forge, Ultra Pro, Phoenix Dice, and Alchemy RPG. Not to mention the support of Idle Champions, Neverwinter, Elderwood Academy, and D&D Beyond. Yes! Good on Ed. We're just going, yes, those are all the people I've heard of. And I'm also like, and Mrs. Figgin's Delightful Hat Shop. He's like, when did that happen? I was like, surprised as you.
Yeah.
Both me and Ed are going to go get hats after this.
We would love to. I would love to.
Ed, it would be just to spend an evening trying on a variety of hats.
That would be lovely.
Yes. Also, we'd like to show it in our deep little dark hearts a great gratitude to the D20 Club. Yes, I was about to say Ed was the only. Well, I end up like trying to do like there's like a finger cross thing that I can't. I'm just like I cross my fingers at you.
It's a good or bad thing. Yeah.
Just like oh, he's doing it with such emphasis. It must mean something. Anyway, yes. If you want to join the D20 Club, you pay one of your local currency and you can come hang out. It's a lovely place. Also, if you are currently part of the D20 Club and you want to see some things, let us know. I keep threatening to write poetry. I don't know why. I'm not a poet.
Dear God.
Like
as long as it's better than Vogon poetry, we're fine.
Oh, that's the challenge, though. Or the we're going to get distracted. What was the name of the little girl who was actually the worst poet in the? See, that's a pub quiz question. You're like, what was the name?
Yes, I was going to say Lorena Kennett, but that's not fair. She's a really, really good artist. But it's something like that. She lives in Essex, if I remember, which is really unfair.
I know in the original it was an actual person, and then like that person wrote to Douglas Adams and was like, "Hey, I'm not that bad." And he's like, "I thought you were particularly poor." Anyway,
that is bad.
If you can't join us here in the Labyrinth live, you can find us on all your favourite podcasting apps. If you simply look up Roll Together RPG, you'll find us there. Also on most social media, including TikTok at the moment. until it
Great.
comes. Yeah,
Lovely.
lovely.
Band.
I guess pretty much. I also love the assumption everyone's like, "Well, Tom does it," and he's like, "You think Tom knows how it works?"
Do we trust that? That's a
Although
a danger.
at the time of recording, a friend of mine has sent me a video. I was like, "Oh, let's see what people think." It has 2.4 million views.
Wow.
And like the American store Target commented on it, and she's like, "Is this what popularity feels like?"
That is, that is viralness of its the worst kind, I suppose. I fear going viral. I fear it.
It's a terrible fear, Ed. It's just like, oh dear.
What's next? Where do we go from here?
You have to go home and go, Papa, I have become a meme.
Eternal stain on my escutcheon. What shall we do?
Ever so sorry. Anyway, we are
Flights of Fancy. Yes.
We have Flights of Fancy. Vuk, you have about 55 minutes here in the labyrinth.
Very well.
If you you'll find that after about an hour or so, I will simply pop you back where you were. What was the last thing you remember before I sort of scooped you up?
Bidding down. We were on our way to some kind of city.
Oh, Ulon. Yes.
Ulon. Yes.
But it's a fine place. It's one of the best parts of the I'm sure you have an absolutely lovely time there.
I do hope so. It is I am there more through necessity than any kind of wish to be there, but
life has had a nasty habit of just sort of sweeping you along the river, really, hasn't it? You haven't.
It is. Well, that was all that I wanted for a very long time. The problem is, I came to a very sudden river ended, technically, but then after I had died due to they call them tragic accidents. If it's an accident, it feels like tragedy should have more planning. Anyway.
It is the greatest tragedy that sometimes you just slip, hit your head, or in your case, get impaled by a piece of rebar, and that's just...
Yes.
That's it.
You are left with... Well, if you are left with the purpose afterwards, that feels like an enormous bonus, if you can do it. Then you just have to get up and see where you can go. And get some very good armor. That helps.
I'm glad the very good armor's keeping you up and moving after multiple falls.
Which were not sensible in any direction.
No, but
slightly ridiculous and highly amusing.
I mean, one of them was a choice, and another one was just oopsie daisy, I believe is the technical term.
Which was never I've. There's a chaotic streak to my nature, which I don't think I was quite aware of. But I think this is what comes with the freedom of knowing that you do not have to be yourself anymore, because you are freed of those duties that can guide you, or they can weigh you down. And I think only after they have been removed can you truly tell what you might be, which is nice.
The Poppet is not. I'd like to point out that for both of us, this is except for our backgrounds, you are just currently in a white void, just sort of floating.
It's a slightly shameful thing. We're both just in our sort of white eggshells.
Yeah. As pointed out, I've got landlord white.
Yep, whereas mine is just a rug. I do not know where it came from. It just has holes in it, which means I can hang it from the ceiling.
I mean, it solves an issue. You know.
It does. Quite a necessary thing.
But before we go in, Vuk, would you happen to have something known as a D100? If you check your pockets,
I should. It will be from the depths of the ether.
That's fine. So, Vuk, as you sort of reach into one of your pockets, yes. You're very surprised to find in your hand you just have a pair of dice.
Oh. Okay, and I'm rolling.
Perfect.
Okay. That is a 68.
A 68, you say? So, as I said, you're currently in a white void, but slowly and surely it starts. Something comes out. A large stone arch. Above it, carved runes that, if you take a moment to look at it, you don't recognise what they say. But a large wooden two wooden doors, big metal handles.
Right.
The Poppet is floating next to you again, sort of like, just sort of like, 68. You say, would you care to open the door, Buck? The large wooden doors in front of you. Yeah, so if you just give them a...
All right. We'll reach out and attempt to grasp one of the metal handles.
It's a mimic, no. God, you open it, and with a beautiful, as you would think, like, if this was like an adventurer's thing, which it is, a dungeon,
yes.
The perfect... you
creak.
The creak, and then you see like the little flitter of bats, and it's like,
wow.
You step in, and the door closes behind you. You are in a corridor. You've got dark vision, right?
Let me just check. I think I do. It's under traits, isn't it? Where are we? Oh Lord, maybe I don't. Oh no. That
would kind of make what I'm going to do a bit easier if you're like, I can.
Well, now I was going to claim smell, but I think.
Interesting. Would you like to make a perception check based on smell?
Yep. For this room, I shall. Okay, so 19.
Very exciting. What I'm about to tell you mostly comes from the smell, so I'll focus on that. You are in. You can see along the walls there are torches burning with blue flames.
Right.
But they're separate. There's lots of moments of sort of darkness in between. Maybe it's like 10, 15 feet from each. So sort of squinting into the darkness, it's not very clear. As you are looking around, you do see that you are in it's more of a cuboid-shaped corridor than anything.
Right.
Then you have just a sort of, again, you use your mighty smell. The corridor is wet.
Ah.
And that smell of musty. Some would even call it moist.
Hideous word. Well played.
It is. Why would we start in the first 15 minutes with such a disgusting word? And again, do you have is hearing also advanced for a Loxodon, or?
I think no. I think it's the smell is the crucial thing.
Again, there's the smell of something. It's sort of
ichor.
Yeah, actually,
okay.
There's a sort of sliminess to the smell, and there is definitely a sort of squelching
up ahead.
Yes.
Right. In which case, I shall of course cast Shillelagh.
Very wise.
just anyway, and none of that's any use. I will venture forward. Just carefully, not actually stealthily, because I don't think there's anything too stealthy about it yet. No, well, yeah, it's a disadvantage that thing for me, but
sorry, it's just yeah, like. Hey, I think I can't even remember if we could try to. I mean, I tried to balance out my disadvantage on stealth. I think we just he's just going to clink and clank all the way down the corridor.
Yeah, I think that's just going to be the case.
As you sort of again, you're clinking and you're clanking down the corridor,
yes.
And sort of like in the faint light, you can see there's the unevenness to the floor. There's
oh no,
yeah, it looks like maybe something has pitted it, consumed bits. And again, You're looking around at this very cuboid corridor, and the squelching, almost gelatinous noise that's coming towards you.
Okay. You'd have thought a druid would be useful in this. I will cast Detect Poison and Disease. Is there any?
No, whatever that thing is, it's not healthy.
That's all I can get, is it?
Again,
Okay.
it's sort of like I don't know if it's necessarily that it's poisonous, but there's
Is there a plague demon? Well, a plague element to it.
I mean,
A leprosy vibe.
Sure, it's definitely. I have to say, if this thing gets you and your main concern is the possibility of leprosy,
It's a very slow thing. Okay. The thing is, I can't see it, can I?
I mean, you're getting closer, as is it.
Right. Okay. So I can definitely sense this, right?
Yep. And you can hear it. And I'd say you can almost start to see it as it's slowly squelching in towards you.
Right, I'm going to guiding bolt it.
Roll your attack.
8. I think I missed.
You
However,
missed. Yeah.
in keeping with tradition and with my clothing tonight, if we're in the cuboid corridor, I get splashed with rainbow colours, which I'm hoping will liven it up. You know what I mean?
To quote another Ed character, now that's fabulous.
Indeed. That is the idea.
You do indeed splash this. Now, what were the term? This cube. This
What? Oh, man,
gelatinous cube.
I see.
It's covered in.
My favourite ever character was a gelatinous cube.
I was thinking that when that happened. I was like, hey!
Oh, yeah. It feels like home, in a way.
Yeah. And you will be home when you're inside its tum-tum.
Right in the hat now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to cast, therefore, Speak with Animals, because I believe the gelatinous cube counts as an animal.
Ooh, interesting. Yes. Even if it's not, hey, I love whimsy. So you cast Speak with Animals.
Yes.
What would you like to say to it in gelatinous cube?
Start off and see what I get back. Start off with friend, not food. I think we can get away with that, can't we? We're not going to get sued.
Smell like food.
But very bitey food. Bad bitey food. Hurty food.
Very hurty cube.
But no hurt better than lots of hurt.
Ooh. The cube has stopped. And I'm miming it, but the cube seems to be stroking its chin like, ooh.
Well, I can imagine there's a sort of undulation in the folds.
like the wobbliness. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's considering. Ooh.
So I understand this may cause damage, but I'm going to reach out and stroke it.
Yeah, and it starts going in, and yes, you start taking damage, but you're still.
Yes, no, I'm gonna. It's attempting to show friendliness towards this being who seems very nice. Oh. I have a predilection for them, maybe.
I would say make a persuasion roll.
Okay, I'm not good at that. At least as far as I remember. I think, yes, Vuk is someone. Try and stay as Vuk, but they're definitely somebody who goes for authority over any other kind of persuasion, which isn't brilliant.
I mean, if you want to try and intimidate this gelatinous cube.
I don't want to try and intimidate the gelatinous cube. Do you know what? I've just rolled a 1. Not a natural 1, but a 1 nonetheless.
You're stroking with your locks, and you're like, oh,
do I try a pinch? I don't think I should.
You're like, oh, this is nice. And sort of like as you're looking, as your arm is going in further and further and further.
Oh God!
Until you're about by the elbow.
Oh God! And then so I'm just being consumed. Right, I see. Hang on. Okay, affirmative action necessary.
I like the effort. I appreciate that. I think it's very sweet as you are getting dissolved.
Well, I've done this before. I tried to. Now, hang on. Aha. Yes. So, because I just failed the persuasion roll, what I will try instead is channel divinity, charm animals and plants. So it needs to make a wisdom saving throw. As I recall, they are not brilliant with the wisdom.
No.
DC 13.
I mean, I rolled a 3. So,
That might be minus.
I think you definitely have charmed the Gelatinous Cube.
Then in a slightly more matter-of-fact way, if you could attempt to stop consuming me and back off, that would be splendid.
As it pulls off, and you look as your arm is covered in the armor.
Yes.
It's not as bad as it would have been if like level 0 Buck had stuck his arm in there, but it doesn't look healthy.
It's got a sheen, I imagine, that's been sort of like the top layer has been taken off.
The very excellent paint job that your friend did it's now back to now. You've just got like one, like I said, it's the elbow. So you've got one like black sheen
Dip the
arm.
hands in. Yeah, exactly.
Which, I know we're not allowed to send. Would be a very hell of a thing to send back. Where you're just like, yeah, Sonny, just lost all my arm paint.
My bad.
Soz, guys. Yes. So the gelatinous cube has backed off, giving you your arm back.
I am going to so because I've I've got a minute. I'm just going to go. I'm going to say, if you could just stay here, I think there's going to be another one along in just a minute. There was one coming just behind me, so I'm up and I'll go now. And,
okay.
And head off.
It's taking up the entire corridor. It's the size. It has filled up the corridor with its gelatinous.
Oh no! That's what I'm. But what I'm saying is, like, I will try and go like along the wall.
Oh,
between, like
you're trying to like sidle
in between. Like I've given it notice. If it's going to take up all the space, then I'm just going to move through its space.
Make a dexterity roll with advantage, because it's again, it is doing its best to try and pull itself in as much as it can. But
okay. I don't think my dex is splendid either. Hang on. That will be fine. Natural 20.
Oh.
No need to roll. Well, I did roll again, and it was a 2, so I'm very glad I did get
Hey, nat 20, where just...
Shimmy. I think there's a... It's almost balletic.
Yeah, you sort of like start shimmying, and then the cube kind of works out how it manages to go from like this to... And it's just, again, like, you think like if you put like a wall in, that the liquid jelly has just spread all the way up down the corridor, and so
I get to slide.
You slide. You could even, even at one point just sort of stop, like turn horizontally and just sort of walk. You're like, you shimmy down that corridor.
Yeah,
as you're taking little poses.
I have a wonderful friend who shall remain nameless, but was a very good rugby player. But to see him, he is happily married and has a child, but loved going to gay clubs because he said that he felt like there he could dance the way that he always wanted to, if you see what I mean, the freedom, which was lovely. And it was the watching him dance, this enormous bear of a prop, was an excellent thing. And I like to think of a book along those lines as well, a sort of dancing bear.
Look, if we ever get a chance to go dancing, I'm sure Buck is going to have an absolutely wonderful time.
Oh, I think so.
Yeah. We'll see what we can arrange.
I think I think he'd be more into folk music than anything else, but we'll see.
Again, if you want to go dance a Kaylee.
Exactly. Oh, I'd love a Kaylee.
I just got an image of our characters just sort of like doing thing like we're going in a circle. It's like in Titanic where we come in, we do a little dance and then we go back. Oh.
Yeah, exactly.
You just sort of...
I think that would be most excellent. But yes.
Yes, you get to the door on the other side. It takes about the minute. So
yes.
As you sort of like put your hand on the door, you can hear the cube sort of going, "Hey, wait!"
I do not wait. I open the door, slam it as fast as I can.
You turn around, slam it. As you do, you feel something falling out of your pocket. It's the dice.
Oh no!
Roll the dice. This is like Jumanji rules, where like the roll has to happen.
Okay, hang on, clear. 66.
66.
Terribly close.
Ooh. You are just working up my chart. You turn around. You get sort of scooping the dice. Actually, you don't even scoop. Like the dice are in your hands now, and you're like,
yes,
oh.
right.
You turn around. You're like, okay, what fresh hell is this? There is a chair. There is no, this is the thing. It's not a chair because you see it change into. It looks like more like a
throne.
Throne, yes. This is the funny thing that I've established. There are no chairs in my dungeon for reasons I cannot remember.
I understand.
It turns into a very elaborate-looking throne that actually looks like it's quite sturdy.
Right.
Yeah.
Good. Not made out of swords or anything. I was going to say, have you read Use of Weapons?
Oh.
It's just that it's a book by Ian M. Banks. It's very good.
Okay.
And there is a reason in that someone wouldn't have chairs.
Use of Weapons, you say?
It is.
Hello, welcome back to Roll Together Book Club.
Just a small recommendation.
Grand. Yes, so there is a throne.
Yes.
And behind it is another wooden door with a nice handle.
Right.
What would you like to do?
Book, I think, would go up to the throne, look and see if there was a name of any description or any kind of writing on it.
Ooh. Do you want to make an investigation check?
Yes, I do. I was going to say I can try and claim advantage for smell again, but I don't think.
I mean, do you want to sniff the throne?
In many ways, yes. In fact, in order to get advantage, because I'm not going to get anything else on it.
Do it.
Okay. Please tell me that's not my reaction.
You're like 4.
Oh, no, I don't know who sat there. In total, I got 13, I think.
Ooh.
Yeah, 13.
Your trunk kind of like oddly is like
Hoovers the
hoovering is like taking it in. There is the smell of sort of varnished wood, that nice smell.
Yes.
There's also the smell, and again, I think on a 13 you don't quite place it, but it seems sort of natural. Sort of like, and you get like, you almost get like a flash of lightning in your head, but you're like, huh. There's something about it something you've probably have smelt before, but you're just like, I can't quite.
Ozone.
Yeah.
Getting a hint of ozone. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much, actually, where you're just like, yeah, ozone. But
I have no idea where that comes from. But so Vuk will first of all kneel to the throne, then get up and turn and attempt to sit down on it, but doing so very gingerly, on the understanding that there's already been that lightning flash and smell of ozone in the air.
You very delicately place your metallic behind. Yes, like that. Right.
Yeah.
It's plush. There's a nice cushion. You sort of.
Nothing to recommend about a throne more than a plush cushion.
Well, you don't want, like you said, if it was made of swords, you want to have a nice cushion to sit on.
Nothing else, exactly. Okay, sorry. Yes.
Yes. So you're sitting on this wonderful throne, leaning back, and it just sort of. Do you want to explore the throne anymore?
I think Vuk is really enjoying there's images of home flashing before him and how he'd sort of organize it, because there was an idea that he was going to be made. He's been groomed to rise to the top of this sort of what's it called, theogony, when you rule by a church.
Yeah.
But the idea was that he was going to take it all very seriously, and he had to be firm yet benevolent, kind yet strong, all of this kind of stuff. that was exactly the same thing. Anyway,
again, when you're giving your stage, where you're like,
yes. Firm yet strong, forwards, not backwards, upwards, not sideways, and twirling towards the future. But yes, but basically he's just having delusions of grandeur spread out in front of him in the throne. Sorry, and also this is he will. Imagine the throne being his and it being part of him. Imagining himself being greater than himself, as in like the head of his tribe or whatever the thing is, trying to take on that responsibility in his head. Because he hasn't yet, but he wants to prepare for it.
Vuk was going to be the Pontifex. Is that
pretty much?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And that thing of that area of forest was theirs, and that would have been, he would have been able to rule all he surveyed at that point
from your big throne.
Well, indeed, and that was the idea. But trying to get how exciting that would be, but also therefore the sense of responsibility that would have to come with it.
You allow yourself to have this moment of picturing of how serene but just you would have been, just kind but authoritative.
Strong yet beneficent. Exactly.
You allow yourself to go into a little daydream of people from your tribe coming to you with their problems, and you sort of sitting there and listening with most focus, and then just the fact you've also got your eyes shut now. Vuk, I would say, sits on this throne for a good 5 minutes, just like, oh well, no, I couldn't possibly take a gift of fruit. Oh, how delightful!
An entire tortoise, good lord!
Good lord!
Yeah. Exactly.
You enjoy this lovely daydream that as you open your eyes again, do you just want to make one final perception check?
Ooh, okay. Years. 16.
As you open your eyes, the Poppet is sort of hovering next to you. You can't help but notice the hand puppet seems to be shaking.
Did I do something wrong?
It's fine. It's fine. No, it's
amazing.
Yeah. Again, with that, you're like, big chair, big stormy chair.
Book will ever so slightly get down, kneel again in a sort of, okay, yep, fair enough, and then we'll just keep going.
Congratulations, you have sat in the one chair in the entire dungeon that happens to belong to a hand puppet.
Could not have picked a worse.
No.
Oh, shame.
Again, that's the sort of, you feel it's weird. Like, you see him on the other side of the room, but there is definitely like over your shoulder, just unblinking.
Fine.
It's fine. I mean, no one else is using it. Yes. Okay. Congratulations. You've solved the throne puzzle. Do you want to head out the door?
Yes. And
Marvelous.
we'll move over to the door and looked. I was going to say looked askance was wrong, but no, I think looks slightly askance, and then goes through the door.
You put your hand on the door, at which point, and starts dragging you as the eyes open up and a pink tongue comes out.
What?
Yes, that's the chair's not the. This is the test. This is the test. As for the second time in about half an hour, your hand is being dragged into something else. Right. As the horrible tongue licks up towards you.
This is a mimic. Yes?
This is a mimic.
I see. I have no mercy for mimics. They are deeply unattractive beings. Therefore, I assume I am touching it. Therefore,
Yes.
I shall inflict wounds.
You've also still got your shillelagh. If you just naughty.
Oh, that's going to happen. That's going to
Yeah.
happen as well. But I think the inflict wounds is going to be the first thing. Get off my hand would be the... And 18.
That would hit.
Monstrous.
Yep.
So then, wow, 21 points of damage. Get ye hence, demon.
Oh, how does your inflict wounds look?
Oh, that's a good point. So the in a sort of I don't know if this is going to become canon, but it's fascinating. In a sort of Wolverine styley, a load of sickles come out of the back of the hand and start rotating. Just in a sort of...
God. So we have gone from you being the benevolent, kind ruler who takes everything in, and you're like, no, mince meat.
This is the what's it called? The iron fist beneath the velvet glove.
Yes.
This was the show of force when something tries to eat my hand again. Not okay with that.
You just rip into this door, and the tongue's like, no. It's very, very unhappy.
Minced.
Are you going to try and pull your hand out?
Well, so I think if a mimic is the whole door, then I'm going to. So having done damage, I would try and sort of push my fist further through it. If you see what I mean. So I was on the other side, like at least a bit of me was on the other side of it, and I would keep pushing forward through like that.
Now, would you like to make a strength check, or would you like to make another attack check?
Oh yeah, no, shillelagh the damn thing.
Okay, so
yeah, perfect.
You're like, whatever hand's not with the shillelagh, you're pushing through, and then you bring. Go on, roll your shillelagh to give it.
Yeah, no, it's a question of sort of like putting the head down to try and get through the hole, and then bashing over the head with the thing as hard as I can.
What an image!
He's not a sensible human, and not a sensible Loxodon. Sorry. Get in. That's a natural 20.
I am just gonna let you bring this stick hand crack, and it's such a weird feeling to feel a mimic kind of jump over you. You know, you go through the hole as you kind of like. I'll even let you do like a little bit of a combat roll, you know, just as you sort of roll through the door. And the mimic
gets the heads.
Scuttles and then tries to get under. Tries to get under the throne when suddenly just lightning's out and it darts off and tries and like turns into a hat stand in the corner, a very battered hat stand, where it's like.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Again, like as you turn around, the Poppet's like, that's a solution. That's
worked well, I think. Thank you.
Well done. That's very impressive.
I'm glad.
Actually, before we go on, just a quick. Talking is a free action. Woomph.
Cool.
Oh my goodness, Ed. As you said, the iron fist, right? We've gone from you going, oh, I couldn't possibly have another bit of turtle. No, that's too fine. And you're just like, I will mince you.
Yeah, well, that was. This is always my characters are. Well, recently they've been clerics, but usually they're tanks, and therefore the idea is to be a looming presence. If you see what I mean.
Just the fact you're like, I have no love for mimics. Just has Vuk run into a mimic before?
Oh well, no, that was. I think that was much more Ed than it was Vuk. I think they feel like. I don't know how you put it. So I was about to say like rats or pigeons, but both of those are actually quite beautiful animals.
Yeah.
No, that feels harsh. I mean, as in like an animal that just doesn't feel like it's necessary in the world, and the more that could be got rid of, the better.
Again, I was like, wasps. I was like, no, but they bring figs. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, absolutely. It's difficult. I mean, I think the more we get to know about the world, we realize, like, let's not kill any of it.
Yeah.
It's not a good idea.
I mean, I'm sure there's some sort of parasites where you're just like,
oh, yes, I think it just stop. I mean, the COVID-19, if we could get rid of that.
If we could just, move it on.
Just remove it. It'd be a lot easier. Yes.
It's been so weird getting like Facebook memory stuff. You're like, hey, do you remember this 5 years ago? I'm like, yes.
The before times.
The before times.
Because the thing is, it's like when we were in the middle of we've gone. I feel like we've gone violently off topic.
No, well, we're talking as a free action. So.
It's also this is. But all of this was spawned from that. I would suggest because we were doing it before that, and then I can remember the first Zoom episodes that we did of this, and it felt so stilted and it felt so difficult. But I think now it's become pretty much second nature, which is a fascinating shift. I think just that everyone was suddenly able to deal with this as a communication form.
I think that's the weird thing. Like, I've been doing things where people are like, "Oh, just got to check. Do you have Zoom?" And I was like, "Why would I not have?" And I was like, "Yeah, because some people weren't doing like online, like." Because I know you personally, you were doing like helping with online shows, like immersive things.
Yeah,
just like
there was just loads of stuff. Yeah, it was the only thing we could do. Yeah. And also, I have the wonderful advantage of living on a place which doesn't look like, well, that can be made to look like other places. I could make it look like I was in the middle of Hyde Park. Yeah,
with the use of your lovely rug.
Well, that's quite apart from anything else. Hiding in a wardrobe. Yeah, there was a lot of stuff like that. But yes,
again, those that sort of, and especially now with what we're doing at the moment, where we are showing like the old episodes, which are just 2 years old, but you're like, my God, look at
everything's changed in such an amazing way. But I also think that the use of it to sort of I don't quite no I do like keeping your hopes up. As in, it's doing this is an escape from reality at the best of times, which is lovely. Yeah. But when sort of it's a luxury when everything's sort of all right. It's an absolute necessity when you're in the middle of something like that, because it becomes a way of communicating with people, and also if you're all telling the same story together, then it means you feel like you're not abandoned, which is very nice. The
sense of community. And
exactly.
Again, I think both of us have that same sort of almost Sherlock Holmes style thing of like, we need something. We need stimulus.
Yes, otherwise I'm going to go mental.
I'm going to start shooting things into the wall.
Fever, yeah, exactly.
Which I just... Again, just imagine you wake up and like, I have contracted cabin fever.
We knew this day would come at some point. I am tired of this cabin. I need an extension.
I am now going to break this chair. Have a lovely morning. Again, as you said, that sense of community, and again, like the strangeness of like seeing, like you and me saw each other like in person, like, and we were like,
we did.
Oh my goodness, it's you. When you actually did the thing, we were like, I forgot how tall you were, and I was like,
I really did. Well, I can never remember how tall people are, because I remember how sort of tall I think people should be.
Yes.
Which is sort of like energy stuff, which is why Beth Whitaker in my head is about 6 foot.
Yes,
as is Zoe. Yeah. Both of them definitely, and also all of my aunts are about 28 foot at least, I would suggest. They loom large like some kind of P.G. Woodhouse novel.
I was going to say, you have a very Bertie Wooster, like, oh dear, the aunties have come.
Well, they've unfortunately there are fewer of them left now than there were, but it used to be the thing that if one member of the circle of aunts got a piece of information, all of the others would know it instantly. It was really disturbing, but it was quite fun putting out like wrong pieces of information, because then they'd spin back round and you could see how quickly it was before someone went, hang on, where did you get that information from?
You really are running like intelligent, like during the war.
Yeah, exactly. It's sort of it's sort of CIA equivalent, but in the home counties.
Poor dears, they need something to do.
Well, there's the stimulus.
Yeah.
You see,
Yeah.
exactly.
As much as I'm enjoying this, I shall roll a dice and tell you that I got the this is quite a sweet one. Number 18. Which D&D monsters aren't supposed to be cute, but you always feel bad for fighting them because you find them cute regardless?
Oh, all kinds of lizard men.
Yeah.
I have a. Yeah, I don't think it's weird. I think they are a sort of. I like the idea of reptilian things in general. There's a snake called an I'm gonna have to struggle with this. A Hawatuela, I think it's called, and it's got a what's it called? Keyhole shaped pupil.
Oh.
So
see, even now I'm just like, oh.
But that's what I mean. Yeah. It's like it's a very sort of cute and interesting thing, and I don't find them that stressful. And the same thing with snake people, although I haven't come across a lot of them in my D&D travels. I don't think. Yeah, I don't. Yes, exactly. I don't like mimics, but I don't think. Well, yeah, because I'm playing an orc in a campaign I'm doing at the moment, and I think it's because I don't like orcs because of their sort of brutality. If you see what I mean, they feel like they're the least refined of races, which is not a bad thing necessarily, but just not my bag.
Sure.
But then playing one, I'm kind of like, I can see how this is. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
So yes, no. In answer to your question, there are lots of ones.
Yeah.
I mean, anything with tentacles, I'm not good with, as you know.
No.
So them I always want. I just want them to stop moving.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Undulating. Yeah. See, even the word. Just like,
it's just not. It's not. When in regard of tentacles, it's just not. Yeah. So yes, but I think anything sort of without a brain and with tentacles, I feel like I don't mind squishing at all.
Again, we're talking about the cute thing because of this and like the relationship we have with the kobolds who run it. And like I was playing Neverwinter and they're like, you need to fight 20 kobolds, and I was like, no, they're just little guys.
They'll be fine. Leave them alone. Yeah.
Also, the lovely thing about like kobold belief is there's the possibility that when you die, you will come back as a dragon. So I'm like, yeah, guys. Yeah, you're going to come back as a dragon or like a dragonborn. Yeah.
One of you somehow. That's very cute. Did you ever read Only You Can Save Mankind?
Many years ago.
Just because it was it was one of those books where it was kind of like, I had this idea, but here somebody has done a really much better job with it. It was Terry Pratchett, and it was it was a very, very good one. It went into the thing of feeling sorry for computer animations, particularly ones in games like that. And I'm like, I so get that. I feel like they should all have their own story.
Yeah, there's a Black Mirror episode where they're talking about AI, which is the person, and they were like, yeah, no, if they go a bit funny, we just sell them off to video games companies to be like NPCs in the background so you can shoot them. And you're like, as far as you know, it's you, because they've just taken your mind. And you're like, yeah, so like if you're playing a shoot 'em up game, you're like,
oh, yeah, that's cold.
Yeah. And it's just,
I haven't seen that one. That's
it's the Christmas one. But,
isn't it? Yeah, isn't it though? That's lovely for Christmas.
It's such a weird one. Where it's just like, hey, it's a Christmas episode, and then it's like,
that's amazing.
Cute, yeah. No, I agree. Little lizard friends.
Yes, lizard friends. I think are the ones.
But I think the lovely thing about that question is they're like, cool. This is what I think is really cute, and this is which I cannot.
I think that's yeah. I think that's the problem.
Well, that's. I think we've got time to do one more room. You feel?
Yes. Why not?
Right, here we go. We're back in the corridor. Sorry about that. We just needed to talk about lizard folks for a bit. Sign us off. Would you kindly roll that dice?
Yes, of course. Hang on.
No, I'm gonna buff out the throne. It's fine. I'm just. You're the one who hit it with the lightning. Sorry, domestic?
23.
23. As you start heading on down the corridor, as I said, it is Oh, now this is going to be an interesting one. Okay. You get to the door. You open it. Maybe a bit of hesitancy that this one isn't a mimic.
Right.
You step out. Actually, this is a question we haven't asked. Before you actually went to the college, how much time did you spend in Waterdeep?
Oh, very little. I think we'll have got there the night before. I'm supposed to go to the college. Will have had his head filled with don't go to any of the rough areas, and go to a good hotel and all of that kind of stuff. And so he'll have gone to a very basic travel lodge affair.
Go to a good hotel, like the Travelodge.
Yeah, just somewhere where you won't get stabbed would have been the idea. And so we'll have bedded down there and then gone straight into the idea will have been not to get lost in the perils of the urban life, basically.
Well,
no trees, you see. Problem.
Well, that's the problem.
Not many anyway.
So this version of Waterdeep is, again, it's obviously you wouldn't know if this is an illusion or not. Where you're it doesn't look completely right. But you're like,
wait, what? So I've opened the door and there's Waterdeep in front of me.
You're in the street of Waterdeep. Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay. You're looking around the tall buildings, the bustle. You then look down into your hand. The hand that had previously been stuck in a gelatinous cube.
Yes.
Hey, Fuck, what's your favourite type of ice cream?
Rum and raisin.
Oh, you have a delicious rum and raisin ice cream, and
amazing.
You think, oh goodness gracious me, is this going to be my sweet treat? Is this what I'm going to get? I'm trying
to think. Where would you put as a loxodon? Where would you put the ice cream? Would it be to the mouth, or would it be to the?
That's the thing. It's wrapped up in your trunk.
Snort the ice cream.
Yeah, where you're like, well, that's the thing. You're about to snort it, when suddenly a tiny little hand darts up and takes it. You look down. There is a tiny gnomish girl with bright red hair, pigtails sticking out, and she just takes a big and just licks the ice cream.
Is that your ice cream?
It is now.
Where did you get it from?
Found it.
Right. Where do you think I could get another one?
Don't know. Look. The ice cream is melting. It is a very hot day. And this child is very sticky.
I think Vuk will attempt to take the high road and leave the child be, turn around and walk on confidently, simmering gently inside.
This irascible little voracity of a child just keeps eating their ice cream. Oh, she is wicked. Oh, what a naughty youth.
Yes, the magnificent molars that elephants are famed for will be grinding in the back of Vuk's mouth, going, "Oh, you but we'll leave it. Leave it. He knows that it's not worth chastising a child who's obviously a terror.
How would you deal with this terrible child? This terrible sticky child?
Not his. It doesn't matter.
It's not fun. I didn't have that ice cream 2 minutes ago, so I won't miss it now.
Exactly.
I mean, that is a big question we haven't really. Is Vuk the sort of person who's like, this is my thing, don't touch my things?
Ooh, now that's interesting. Probably not. So I myself am an inveterate hoarder, which is dreadful, and it's one of those things where it's difficult to. It's like it's easy to imagine not being like that, but it's very difficult to sort of take it on as like a character trait, if you see what I mean. Because to me, it's such a weird idea that you just want to get rid of all your stuff.
Yeah.
However, I think Vuk will have been schooled very early on that there's no point in that a man's Loxodon's wealth is not in the amount of gold that they have or jewels or anything like that, but in the might of the deeds that they forged. Do you know what I mean? The people that they heal. It's that kind of stuff. All very, very high-minded. But I think therefore would not be that possessive.
I'm interested with you having this conversation with Cleo because
Yes.
you both seem to come from quite well-to-do families. Well, Cleo is like, I couldn't possibly.
Well,
Vox
yes.
seems more kind of.
I think that's the thing. I think that's what he's been freed from, because it was the idea that yes, you get nice things, but what that means is you need to work really hard and take a lot of responsibility and all of that kind of stuff. And what he's got now is a bunch of people who he knows he can trust, who don't demand, that only demand that he be nice. Yeah, which is a much sort of easier way of being. And obviously he does want to get home, but he doesn't have. He doesn't know what they'll make of him when he gets there. So,
which is hard.
Exactly.
I think that's been the big thing about Fracture. It's all our characters finding out, oh, I can actually just be myself here.
Yeah.
And like, so like, hey, if you're Muslim and you're like, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I don't know. I'm working through some stuff at the moment.
But I think that's the crucial key is that even when you're transposed to somewhere that doesn't work, provided you have a support framework, you will be okay. That doesn't mean that the support network itself won't crumble. That's the thing. You're only as strong as like your weakest member.
I also think it's interesting for the two of us that, you know, Warlock, Cleric, we've both been given our powers by a higher being.
Yeah,
but
gone.
Yes.
Yeah. And
also sort of like that idea of a little bit of like, because for Uslam, both times hasn't agreed to it really, and then it's like, no, you got this now. But Book's still like going, hey, I'm still producing.
Yeah, this is all still working for me. Well, I think but also it's the Book's whole thing is like, got to keep a brave face on things and got to keep on going to the next thing. What I'm worried about is when that comes to an end. Yeah, because I then feel like it's kind of like his reaction is going to be along the lines of like, well, I would kill myself, but I'm already dead. Do you know what I mean? It's going to get sort of Titus Andronicus levels of what the hell do I do now? It's that kind of, do you know what I mean? That kind of despair potentially. I hope not, because
I'm imagining you saying that like while we're around the dinner table, where we're just like, is Book okay? Like, well, obviously he's not. I don't think any of us are okay. But let's not. There's different levels here of how well we're coping. But
that's what I mean. But it's also like I feel like that is a thing of reality as well. Is like everybody is on a scale of just not being able to cope. And wherever you find somebody, it's vital to be like, cool. Wherever you are, that's fine. Let me help if I can. It's just figuring out which people you're willing to do that for. Again,
when we have guest players, are we going to be those obnoxious people going, you don't know what we've been through? You can't enter our group. You don't, like, oh, hi guys, maybe I could get some rum and raisin. No, rum and raisins are thing.
Well, no, but because we know all of the guest players anyway, it works better to come on in. But I love the sort of the idea of the dynamic when the guest player is actually, I've got to work for like respect within the group, because it feels like that's not necessarily. I mean, it can kind of work with backstory as well, but I feel like that it shouldn't be a given. Do you know what I mean?
That is always funny when you get like a guest player in who's like, you're like, hi, I don't know who you are,
right?
I know you're Sean, but
no. This is what is going on here. Yeah, what are the levels to this?
We've got terrible secrets. And we're just like, hi,
exactly.
Nice
you
to
can't
meet
just
you,
go
friend.
away.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Amazing. So as Buck not strops off, but walks grinding, like some kind of hologram room as everything starts fading to white, and Vuk finds himself back in the void.
Yeah. Brilliant.
The puppet and a very annoyed looking hand puppet. Which again,
sorry. So sorry.
You feel you feel forgiven. You feel like a curse was put on you, another curse has been removed.
Blessed.
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 Hey, I'm not saying that it's a good idea to upset the storm goddess, but just
Absolutely.
Well, okay, well done, Buck. You did quite well, apart from losing the ice cream at the end. But charity, that little girl obviously needed it more than you did. But
I was not willing to put up with the bawling and the screaming.
No, it's very obnoxious. It's why I don't see my kids. Anyway, so thank you one and all for joining us for Talking as a Free Action. You can find us here every Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. BST, and on Mondays and Tuesdays you can watch our documentaries. That could possibly be Fracture, where lovely folks like Vuk and less lovely people like Uslam Din go on little adventures.
There's no hierarchy of loveliness in the party. Well, no, let's not go down that route.
Hey, there's some that are more lovely than others. Like,
Poppets.
Yeah. Well, this has been the great thing about today, where we've had two Poppets kind of
jousting, absolutely.
Yes, the jousting Poppets. But this Poppet is more willing to just like stick a fist through a door.
Yeah.
So it might be Fracture, it might be some new content, or it might be some of our classic episodes. If you keep watching long enough, young Ed and young Tom will turn up at one point, and you'll be like, my goodness.
The years have really been unkind. Yeah.
What was it like when we didn't have to go outside?
All of these wrinkles, it's not from the sunshine.
It's the stress. If you want to enjoy the streams, you can find us at twitch.tv/RollTogetherRPG. The VODs are available right after, and you can also find us on YouTube. And then there's also the podcasts, Roll Together RPG. If you want to enjoy clips, the TikTok, Roll Together RPG, other social media, and of course the D20 Club on Patreon.
You are amazing.
They are amazing. We love them. We couldn't do it without them. They also have made us a wiki and a Discord, so please come along.
Crazy, yes.
We are often on the Discord, so if you do have a question, come and ask us. And sometimes we'll be like, I don't know. People will be like, hey, what's Vuk's name about? And we're like,
crazy, I think, really.
Hey, what's Usman's name about? Ooh, yeah. We love secrets. So yes, that's one of your local currency. Now, Vuk.
Yes.
Next to you opens a portal. It's going to take you back to the ship.
Right.
So if you prepare, if you like, you begin walking. But as you look, the large wooden door with the stone, the runes start translating. They now, in common, simply read that most beautiful of proverbs: always stay classy at the table. And you are one of the first people to not get blasted through the portal as you have left, very politely, as it shuts and the memory fades away. Goodbye.
Amazing. Goodbye.
Goodbye.